What up, TTC? Sunsnare06 here, Syracuse fans. How y'all doing tonight? Happy Wednesday to you all. And lots to talk about tonight. And it's spring football time here at the Q, so it's time to break down the spring depth chart. I'm going to talk a little bit about that, talk about some events that have already happened involving Syracuse football this spring. And they haven't been many, but they've been pretty important. And also talk a little bit about what I expect of this football team. So let's get started. The Syracuse football team is coming off a 4-8 record, first season last year under new head coach Doug Marrone, the former offensive coordinator of the New Orleans Saints and SU alum, took over the program last year. An interesting first season for Coach Marrone. Lots of things happened. First, the signing of Greg Paulus was a big thing. Then after that, an incident involving 4 Syracuse players in a car accident, which led to the departure of Mike Williams, the star wide receiver, and also the suspension of 3 other important Syracuse football players in Antoine Bailey, Torrey Ball, and Andrew Tiller. And, of course, lots of injuries, very serious injuries, lots of season-ending injuries, which pretty much withered away at this roster until it was about 55 players. But the team managed to finish the season on a positive note, especially when they demolished Rutgers 31-13. Even though the season ended with a loss in Connecticut. That being said, it's a new season now. There's been some changes to the football team. There's some new coaches on the staff. There's a new defensive line coach, Jimmy Brumbaugh, who comes to us from Louisiana Tech, the former staff of Derek Dooley, who is now the head coach at Tennessee. What up, Vols fans? Bill for Vols, Big Vol Daddy, all you guys, how you doing? And also, there's a new quarterbacks coach in Nathaniel Hackett, former offensive quality control coach for the Bills. There is a new running backs coach, Ty Wheatley, former Michigan star and NFL player, and also Big Vol Daddy. You may know this next guy, Rob Moore, has taken over as our new wide receivers coach, former Arizona Cardinals All-Pro wide receiver and SU standout, and he's going to be mentoring our wide receivers. So lots of turnover already, but it's positive turnover. Some new coaches. Marrone fired 3 coaches at the end of last season, clearly not satisfied with the work they were doing. That being said, let's take a look at our new depth chart. And here's our spring depth chart. Quarterback right now, Ryan Nassib is listed as the starter. I do not see him losing the starting position. Even when the freshmen get here in August, I just do not see him losing this position. He had a lot of playing time last year. He's battle-tested, he's battle-hardened, and I think he's ready to lead this team on the field. And he was actually listed as the starter before Greg Paulus came as well, so this kid is definitely ready to lead this football team. I think he's going to have a good season. However, I do see one of our recruits, John Kinder, getting in to run a more Wildcat-like package. Moving on, at running back, DeLon Carter, Antoine Bailey, and Averin Collier are all back. All 3 of them saw substantial time on the field last year. I think it'll be more of the same this year. Wide receiver, here's a little cause for some concern right now. We're pretty thin at wide receiver. Mike Jones, who was going to start at the Z position. I don't know what Coach Marrone means by Z, but our starting wide receiver, Mike Jones, quit the team prior to the first spring practice. And no one has a reason for why he quit the team, and we'll probably never know. But right now, that leaves our receivers pretty thin. Van Schu is listed as a starter there. I do not think that's going to hold up. However, at the X position, I see Alec Lemon definitely getting the start there because he had a great freshman season. He's had a lot of time in the offseason conditioning program. I think he's ready to go. Aaron Weaver is listed behind him. He's a transfer from Hofstra's defunct football program now, and I think he'll definitely see a lot of time. He'll probably also see some special teams time. He has 1 season of eligibility. And also Marcus Sales is listed there as the 3rd stringer, but I think he's probably going to see some more time. And we'll have to see what Coach Marrone decides to do along with the freshmen coming in. Apparently we have a couple good freshman receivers coming in, so we'll have to see. At tight end right now, we're also a little thin, but Nick Provo is listed as a starter and Jose Cruz is listed behind them. I think both of those guys will see the field quite a bit, and Jose Cruz will probably be more the blocking tight end, and Provo will probably see the field even more as a pass catcher, as well as Cody Catalana. I think he's definitely going to see some time as well, even though right now he's listed as being buried on the depth chart, but that's because he's recovering from an injury. The offensive line for this football team right now is a work in progress. We won't know who's going to be on it until probably the first game. And that's up to Coach Marone, but if there's anyone who can put together a good offensive line, it's Doug Marone. This guy has a lot of experience coaching offensive lines. He's coached them in college, and he's coached them in the NFL. And we also have a great offensive line coach in Greg Adkins. And I know Bill Fervalzi spoke very highly of Coach Adkins. He's a former Tennessee coach, coached with Fulmer. So he's a good coach. So we'll have to see what will happen with this offensive line. And now on to the defense. The defense looks really promising already, and they're already off to a great start. Coach Marone said the defense is ahead of the offense. And you've got to be really excited if you're a Syracuse fan about the fact that Darrell Smith and Doug Hogue, our two starting linebackers, are coming back. Darrell Smith, our middle linebacker, had a terrific season last year, was a midseason All-American, was a candidate for the Big East Player of the Year and the Big East Defensive Player of the Year, and he was just awesome. Even though his season was ended early by a season-ending injury, he's ready to come back and have a great season. And Doug Hogue, converted running back, was like the fourth-string running back on this team, had a great season at linebacker. He had 3.5 sacks in one game. That was the Rutgers game, where the defense recorded 9 sacks, and he was just all over the field. So he's ready to come back and have a great season as well, so I'm excited about that. Defensive line right now is a work in progress right now. I'm a little concerned about the depth at defensive tackle, but I definitely think that we'll be able to solve that with the freshmen that we have coming in, and also a JUCO defensive tackle from California, Deion Goggins. I think he's definitely be competing for a starting position. At defensive end, I think we're pretty good, actually. Mikel Marinovich and Chandler Jones are listed as starters, and there's plenty of depth right there. And I think of all the guys that could definitely make an impact, I think Chandler Jones is definitely going to be one of those players to watch. He's Art Jones' little brother. He's got a lot of explosiveness. He gets off the ball quick. I think he's definitely somebody we're going to have to keep an eye on, as well as this new freshman, Max Bello, who I think is going to absolutely explode. He looked absolutely beastly in his highlight video. In the secondary, there's also a little cause for concern. It's pretty banged up, but I think that we're going to be pretty good back there. Damone Merkerson, a converted receiver, and Shamarko Thomas are listed as Philip Thomas, my bad, are listed as the two starters at corner, but we won't know who the starting corners are probably until the first game. Safety, we know that Mike Holmes is definitely going to start at free safety like he always does, and he's been playing very, very well at free safety. And strong safety, there's definitely going to be some competition there between Max Suter and Shamarko Thomas, and also there's a JUCO transfer named Alondo Fisher, who's also in the running. So we won't know about this defense, or at least about parts of this defense, until opening day next season. That being said, what I expect from this football team, I think we have the makings of a bowl team here. Some of you may tell me no, but I think this is definitely a team that could be a bowl team if they're coached right and if they play well every game. They're definitely going to be competitive. They were competitive for the most part in every game last season. So I think this team could definitely make a bowl if they play well. So it's on them to just play well, and I think they could definitely be a bowl team. So for record right now, with this depth chart right now, and the freshmen coming in, I'm going to say 6-6 or 7-5. I want to know what you guys are thinking. So Syracuse fans, any people that know Syracuse football, feel free to comment and give your opinions. And let's see. I'm going to be at the spring game with the marching band. So, yeah. All Syracuse fans, if you can, please make it out to the spring game. I'm going to post the date in the sidebar, so please come and check it out. See the football team for the first time. It's going to be good to see football back in the Dome. Anyway, that's all for me. Big game tomorrow against Butler for the basketball team in the Sweet 16, so here's hoping we get it done. On to the Elite Eight. All right, have a great night, everybody. Go Orange. Peace out.